Somebody asked him, Tony, is Shedeur Sanders on the roster next year? He said, who the hell knows?
Something wild is bubbling inside the Browns, and pretending it's not happening is getting impossible. A team insider just dropped comments that should have every fan sitting up straight, and it's not because of Shedeur Sanders, it's because Kevin Stefanski keeps sliding by untouched while everything around him keeps cracking. How does the most gifted young quarterback on the roster get questioned non-stop, while the head coach behind the chaos keeps strolling around like nothing's wrong? How is Shedeur supposed to thrive when the system around him breaks down every time he tries to move forward? And why does it feel like the coaching staff is more focused on saving their own jobs than actually building up the quarterback they drafted? If Stefanski can't even put together a real plan, how does he justify another season in the big chair? And here's the part that makes fans shake their heads. Why is Shedeur's spot even a conversation when Stefanski's seat should be the one lighting up like a grill? That right there tells you the real issue in Cleveland. It's not Shedeur, it's the confusion, the shaky direction, and the wobbly leadership coming from the top. When a quarterback with talent, discipline, and real work ethic can't even get a clear answer about his future, it exposes the environment he's stuck in loud and clear. A strong coach lifts his players up, but a weak coach builds nothing but doubt. And right now, doubt is screaming the loudest inside this organization, and it's coming straight from Stefanski's side, not Shedeur's. Then John added something that hit even harder. The level of competition will always be real, and Shedeur won't be lining up with gym teachers and librarians, so nobody should expect him to play down to anybody's level. These are real NFL pros out there, contracted, trained, and built to deliver on Sundays. So why does it feel like Shadow is judged tougher than anybody in the whole building? How does Gabriel get a never-ending list of excuses while Shedeur gets interrogated like he's at some courtroom table? Gabriel's got the tape, the slip-ups, the shaky stretches, but somehow Stefanski keeps guarding him like he's untouchable, like he's wrapped in bubble wrap. No one is allowed to poke. Meanwhile, Shedeur is the one being talked about like he's on trial every single week. That's not development, that's not leadership. That's straight favoritism dressed up as strategy. If Stefanski really believed in competition, Shedeur would already be front and center because he studies, he prepares, he shows up, and he grinds for every snap like it's the last one he'll ever get. Instead, Stefanski keeps forcing a system that's sputtering, defending a quarterback who isn't delivering, and throwing confusing messages at the one player who actually brings Cleveland some hope. Shadow deserves clarity, real support, and an honest shot. And right now, the ones who should be questioned are Stefanski and Gabriel, not him. And the wildest question heading into 2026 is this: will Shedeur Sanders even be with the Browns by then? Hearing that out loud makes the whole situation feel shaky, but at the same time, it makes you wonder if the reason Cleveland wants to keep him isn't even about football anymore. It's about money. Some insiders swear the Browns are thinking less about wins and more about business deals, stadium moments, and branding plays. They want Shedeur's name glowing across that new stadium like a billboard.
It's still their National Football League, so the level of competition will always be there. Shedeur won't be out there with gym teachers and librarians if he gets to play, bro. Shape. Now, one of the biggest questions,
turning him into the center of their marketing plans. They want to put Shedeur's name shining bright for every fan walking through those gates. But if the motivation is all business, all branding, all dollar signs, what does that say about how they truly value Shadow as a quarterback, as a competitor, as a leader? Are they keeping him because he's the best quarterback for the squad, or just because he's good for the business game? If Shedeur's future is tied to dollars, branding, and boardroom talks instead of his talent and dedication, that creates some heavy questions. What message does that send to the rest of the locker room and the fans who ride with this team every season? Shouldn't the Browns focus on building a real winning team before they worry about opening a shiny new stadium with his name glowing across the walls? How can Shedeur grow, lead, and actually take Cleveland somewhere if the front office is treating his future like he's a product on a shelf waiting to be packaged? And what about the coaching staff? Are they truly in his corner, or are they just surfing the business hype and ignoring the football reality staring them in the face? Because if the coach isn't fully behind Shedeur, then no stadium lights or money deals will fix the fact that this team won't win without real leadership and real belief. Shedeur deserves a spot because of what he brings on the field: talent, heart, discipline, and the drive to compete every single snap. But if these money schemes start mattering more than actual football, then Shedeur's role becomes shaky no matter how good he is or how hard he works. And that leads to the real question Cleveland can't avoid. Is this leadership ready to commit to real football, or are they chasing fame and dollars like it's the only scoreboard that counts? And if they can't commit to Shedeur as their quarterback, why should he even stay? That answer won't just decide his future. It'll shape the entire direction of the Browns franchise moving forward.
Going into the 2026 season is, will Shedeur Sanders still be on the Browns? And I'm praying to God that he's not. But I got a feeling he probably will. Now, like I stated, I think he will because it's all about the money, man. They're definitely going to do their part to try to get as much money out of this Shedeur Sanders situation. Because I told y'all, this is big business. They trying to build that new stadium. And who name shine bright on the top of that stadium?
This is the heavy question hanging over the team right now. Who's actually returning for the 2026 season? One fan even said they can't argue with the uncertainty because at this point, only a few players feel like guaranteed returns for next year. The Browns are staring straight at a giant mess with way more questions than answers, and that is the worst place an NFL team can sit in. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the longest, most unpredictable stretches Cleveland has ever faced, and fans need to brace themselves because big changes are coming whether the front office admits it or not. This roster needs a full reset just to have a real chance at competing again. But even in all this madness, one thing stands out clear. Shedeur deserves to be part of the future in Cleveland. He's one of the few bright spots on a team that's starving for a real leader who can spark the whole locker room. If the Browns are serious about rebuilding and getting back on track, they have to give Shedeur the space to grow and prove himself as the quarterback they actually need. No more excuses, no more confusion, just a real commitment to the guy who can make something happen on the field. The Browns can't keep dragging their feet or hiding behind uncertainty anymore. Either back Shedeur and build a squad around him, or watch another season slide away fast. Right now, it's clear the Browns won't turn anything around until Shedeur Sanders is actually on the field running the show. It's obvious when you watch. Dillon Gabriel looks unsure out there, still trying to figure things out, and that makes the entire offense stall. Tommy Riss and Kevin Stefanski look just as lost trying to patch things up, and when the quarterback can't guide the team and the coaches can't find a direction, everybody pays the price. This isn't about the players. They're out there grinding and pushing through. It's about leadership that hasn't found a real plan yet. So here's the tough question Cleveland keeps avoiding. How long are they going to let this chaos keep rolling? How many games are they willing to drop while the same mistakes repeat themselves with Stefanski running things? At some point, someone has to step up, make changes, and take responsibility because this franchise can't move forward without a real reset in leadership. If he can't get Shedeur on the field and make this squad competitive, then what's he even doing in that job anymore? The fans deserve better, the players deserve better, and the whole Browns franchise deserves better. It's time to make a real change before this thing slides even deeper into trouble. Shedeur gives this team a stronger shot than Gabriel to actually turn things around and stack wins, and the fans see that clear as day. But the real question is, does the coaching staff see it too? One fan even asked, are the Browns even trying to win anymore? And that's a heavy question because right now it doesn't look like the coaches are really pushing like they should, and it makes you wonder. If the fans can see it, and if some players can feel it, then why does the coaching staff look so lost? Or even worse, what if they don't care enough to fix what's broken? If Stefanski and his staff aren't locked in on winning, then who are they really working for? And if Shedeur is clearly the best chance to take this team somewhere, why isn't he on the field every single game instead of watching from the sideline like a backup plan? Why are we stuck with a quarterback who isn't delivering results. How many more chances is Stefanski going to waste on players who don't get it done before he finally makes the move?
This is a major question. One fan stated, can't argue with that. In fact, there's only a few players I would confidently say will be back for another season. Browns 2026 season. A bunch of questions without answers. The Browns is going to have one of the longest off seasons and probably one of the most entertaining off seasons in the entire NFL. I believe the Browns is going to have to overhaul the
players and fans are practically begging for. Here's the rough part. If the coaching staff isn't fully committed to winning, why should anyone believe this team can turn things around? The Browns need leadership that fights for every win, every down, and every player who can actually bring success. Stefanski has to stop hiding behind excuses, step up, and make the right calls, or move aside so someone else can take control and push this team forward. The wildest part in all of this is how the Browns keep pretending everything is fine, like the whole city can't see the cracks forming right in front of them. Every press conference feels like another round of empty lines and recycled answers, and fans are tired of listening to speeches that don't match what's happening on the field. You can't talk about progress when the product looks stuck in reverse. And through all that noise, Shedeur sits there ready, prepared, locked in, waiting for the chance he keeps earning, but somehow never gets. That's what makes people shake their heads, because this isn't about talent anymore. It's about decisions from the top that make no sense. The coaches act like switching quarterbacks is rocket science when everyone watching from home already knows who gives the Browns their best shot. Even players have started dropping subtle comments, little hints that something inside the building isn't adding up. Nobody's saying names, nobody's pointing fingers out loud, but you can hear it. The frustration, the confusion, the feeling that certain choices just don't match the reality the team is living in. When a locker room starts feeling that, it hits the whole franchise like a wave. Fans aren't asking for miracles. They're asking for effort, honesty, and a staff that actually wants to win. Right now, it feels like they're watching a team that's scared to make the right move, scared to shake things up, scared to trust the guy who's been grinding for his chance since day one. And that fear is killing the season before it even gets started. If the Browns want to change the story, they have to stop running from the truth and stop protecting decisions that aren't working. Cleveland is a city that loves fight, passion, and heart, and Shedeur brings all of that every single day. The question is whether the people in charge will finally open their eyes and let him lead before the whole season slips away again. The craziest part is how the pressure keeps building, and the Browns act like they can just keep dodging it forever. Every week, the noise gets louder, the questions get tougher, and the tension around this team thickens like smoke. Everyone can feel it. Fans, analysts, even former players. And the only people pretending nothing's wrong are the ones sitting in the coaching offices. Meanwhile, Shedeur keeps proving he's ready, but instead of giving him a real shot, they keep talking around him like he's some optional piece instead of the guy who can actually change the whole season. It's wild, because the more they avoid the obvious, the more the entire fan base starts wondering what they're hiding. Why are they treating Shadow like a backup storyline when he should be the main headline? And let's be real, Cleveland fans aren't quiet about anything. They're loud, they're passionate, and when they want something, the city hears it. People are on social media every single day saying things like they're tired of waiting, tired of excuses, tired of pretending Gabriel is the answer when the footage keeps showing something different. The fan pressure is building like a storm, and the front office is acting like a little umbrella is enough to stop it. Inside the locker room, players feel it too. The energy shifts, the whispers start, the looks get sharper. You can tell folks are waiting for the moment the switch finally happens, because everyone knows that one change could flip the whole season instantly. But instead, the team keeps clinging to a plan that clearly isn't delivering. At some point, the Browns have to face reality. Shedeur isn't the problem. He's the solution they keep ignoring. And the longer they delay that decision...
Adamant about this. The Browns will not win a game until they play Shedeur Sanders. It's clear as day. Dylan Gabriel do not know what the hell he's doing. Tommy Riss does not know what he's doing. Who else? Kevin Stefanski really don't know what he's doing. At this point, I don't know, bruh. But the Browns is in a bad.
The more embarrassed this franchise is going to look when the truth eventually hits the field anyway. Shedeur is ready to lead right now. The only question is whether the people in charge will stop holding him back before the whole season collapses on their watch. What makes this whole situation even more ridiculous is how the Browns keep acting shocked every time the fans demand answers. Like, seriously? How long do they think people are going to sit quietly while the same problems repeat week after week? Cleveland isn't the type of city to stay silent when something feels off, and right now, everything about this team feels off. Every time Gabriel steps on the field and struggles, the conversations explode all over again, and the coaching staff scrambles to explain it with the same recycled lines. Meanwhile, Shedeur is right there, calm, locked in, working harder than half the roster, but somehow he's the one being talked about like he's not ready. Fans hear that and just shake their heads because the excuse doesn't match what they see with their own eyes. Even the national media is starting to question what the Browns are doing. Analysts on TV are saying things like the team looks confused, or the staff is overthinking, or that Stefanski is trying to force a plan that clearly isn't working. When outsiders start pointing out the same things the fans have been yelling for weeks, that means the problem is big, really big. And inside the building, people know it too. You can tell by how players answer questions. Short replies, careful words, no one trying to say too much. That's the kind of energy teams have when something behind the scenes isn't lining up. Everyone can feel the pressure, and everyone knows the wrong move right now could break the season completely. The Browns can't keep running from this. They can't keep acting like the fans don't notice the obvious or like Shedeur hasn't earned the chance to take control of this offense. Change is sitting right in front of them, ready to go, ready to spark something real. But the people in charge have to stop fighting it and finally let it happen before things get way worse. If the Browns want a future worth watching, they've got to stop pretending and start choosing the quarterback who can actually take them there. Shedeur Sanders. The wildest part is how every single week feels like the Browns are sitting on a ticking clock, and instead of fixing the problem, they're just staring at it like it's going to solve itself. Fans are watching this team unravel in real time, and the front office still keeps acting like the situation isn't urgent.
I believe Shedeur have a way better chance than Dylan for us getting this thing done, for us winning this game. Another comment said, are the Browns even trying to win anymore? Coaches and players are. Let's see what the comments said. And this is great that Tony doing this, because it's transparency a little bit. You know what I'm saying? At least for his part. He said fans are too. Bro, I don't know. I don't know if the coaching staff is truly trying to win. I just don't.
Cleveland wants answers, energy, direction, something. But all they're getting is confusion. Meanwhile, the team's future is just sitting there on the bench wearing number 14, completely ready to step in and change everything. Shedeur has the aura, the preparation, the mindset. He's been carrying himself like a starter since day one. But the coaches keep treating him like a backup plan. And fans can't understand why the guy who actually gives them hope is the one being slowed down. Even former players and insiders have started speaking up, dropping little hints that the locker room knows exactly what's missing. They don't say it directly, but you can hear it in their tone. This team needs a spark, and everybody knows who can bring it. When veterans start sounding frustrated, you know the pressure inside the building is real. And the Browns' opponents aren't dumb either. Other teams can sense the weakness, the hesitation, the lack of leadership on the field, and they're taking advantage of it every chance they get. You can almost see opposing defenses smiling when Gabriel jogs out there because they know the offense is about to stall again. That's why fans are demanding change louder than ever. They want the quarterback who plays with real confidence, who prepares like a pro, who isn't scared of the moment, and that's Shedeur every single day. The longer the Browns delay giving him the keys, the more momentum they lose, and the more the season starts slipping through their fingers. Cleveland needs someone who can walk into the huddle and lift the entire team, and everyone knows Shedeur Sanders is that guy. The question now is simple. Will the Browns finally wake up and let him lead, or are they about to let another season fall apart right in front of them? The fans deserve that much, and so does Shedeur, because he's been putting in the work while the people in charge keep dragging their feet. The future of the Browns depends on whether they finally trust Shedeur to lead and start holding their coaching staff accountable for every decision they keep dodging. Cleveland's tired of circles. They want honesty, direction, and a quarterback who actually gives this team a real shot at winning. So here's the real question. Will Kevin Stefanski step up and do what's best for the team, or will he step aside so someone else can finally steer this franchise in the right direction? Fans are ready for answers, and Shedeur is ready for his moment, but the Browns have to make the choice that actually moves them forward. If you want more raw and honest breakdowns like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video so you don't miss anything. What do you think? Does Shedeur deserve the starting spot next season?